Ooh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I just saw the Premier League table and I saw Leicester's form. They're on a four-match losing streak. You know what comes next, right? Charity FC. I hope not. All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. Oh, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Another match is upon us. Premier League is back again this weekend. Oh, exciting times, exciting times. Whenever the matches are not on, we all feel a bit. We feel empty. We feel empty, especially when you win. When you start winning, you want to keep playing so you can just accumulate those wins, and that's the feeling that I've been getting recently. I just can't wait to see Chelsea next up, and hopefully we just keep developing. Look, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Leicester. At the end of the day, they've just not been good. They're 15th, and I'm not saying we've been good. We're 10th. So this is a very, very interesting matchup, but it's a match once again the notion of must win. Like, when you get a win against Leeds and when you get a win against Dortmund, a fine victory against Dortmund, and to be honest, we should have done the double on them, on both the legs. You cannot go backwards now. You simply cannot go backwards. And if you do end up going backwards, I think it further sort of reconfirms all the people that are not convinced by Graham Potter to say that, look, you may not get the sack this season. I think by winning against Dortmund and progressing towards the quarterfinals of the Champions League, you've booked yourself that opportunity to guide Chelsea through in that particular setup, in that particular match. But best believe, if you now keep going backwards, drop points against Leicester, next up is Everton, drop points over there as well, you're going to have to be seriously sort of, considered in the sense that, are you good enough for Chelsea Football Club? At the end of the season, there has to be good assessment made by not just the fans. Obviously, the fans, they already feel the way they feel, but the owners will really need to sit down and think, is he the right guy to go forward with? So look, for me, Graham Potter, don't get complacent, be ruthless, keep that morale high. 2 victories in a row, as Graham Potter has mentioned many times in press conferences and post-match conference, pre-match conference, that there is a good buzz. There is a good buzz, and you got to continue. You've got to find a way to keep picking up these victories. I mean, Leicester, with all due respect, as I said, last 4 matches, I think one of the 4 matches was Blackburn in the FA Cup. I believe Blackburn's a championship level team. So, Southampton beat them. Southampton beat us as well. So that's not a barometer, I suppose. But they've been getting their backside whooped around. So look, we need to get a victory here and really set ourselves up for the Everton game as well, just before the international break. Really finish things off in a high note. Quite a few players are out. Mason Mount's out. Lots of news about Mason Mount going left, right, and center. Graham Potter came out in the press conference stating that, look, it's not in his position to talk about this anymore. He has had the conversation with Mason Mount. He's told him what he feels and what he sees in him for the future. It's really now up to the club and Mason Mount. Look, the way I look at it is, Mace is probably not going to get what he wants, whether that is the number of years in the contract or the wages per week. Lots of sources are saying in recent times 180k per week has been offered, but that's substantially lower than what Mason Mount really wants. There's issues with the image rights as well, the social media marketing and all of that. Whole heap of complicated stuff that's involved here. And the length of the contract, Mace definitely doesn't want something for 7 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever the case is. That's how we've been rolling in recent times. He's looking for something around 5 years. And Graham Potter has just said, look, at the end of the day, both parties will do what is best for them. Me personally, I've said it many times, I think he's going to get sold. I really think he's going to get sold. And now with Chelsea winning the last couple of games and Mace not being there, it just sort of further lets the fan base know that there is a life beyond Mason Mount. It's not the end all or be all. Do you know what I mean? And he's not going to be available for this Leicester game, along with N'Golo Kante, who's still probably about a week away. Maybe he might be available for the Everton game to feature something off the bench. Sterling is in doubt as well, which is a bit of a massive blow. I didn't want to change too much for this particular team. I really want to keep it as same as possible from the wins that we had against Leeds and Dortmund, but seems like there's going to have to be some changes. Reece James is a notable another absentee. He's out with illness. Sterling, I believe, is some muscle tightness in his hamstring. So, look, we're going to have to make some changes. Reece James, another player, man. I mean, look, I'm fine with us trying to manage his game time, but he barely plays, and something to look into next season. Is playing as a right wing back the right sort of spot for him? Can we mold him into a different player in another place as a defensive midfielder, maybe? But then again, not to say that in a defensive midfield position you don't have to run around, or you don't. There's a lot of ground you still need to cover, and physically you're going to have to be always on top. Glad that we signed up Malo Gusto, who's going to join us next season. He's going to get a lot of game time. He really will get a lot of game time, and Reece James has to find a way how he can stay fit for prolonged periods of time, because the contract is a long contract. I think he's on a 6-year contract as well, like one of these long-term contracts with very handsome wages, 250k per week. So we don't want to get into a situation where player that we're paying a lot of money barely plays for us, much like what N'Golo Kante has had in the last few seasons. So look, these are the notable changes. Graham Potter talked about Kovacic in the press conference as well, and how important he is and how important the captaincy has been. A lot of people have been a bit stranged out about it. Me personally, at first I was thinking, there was a conversation between Sterling and Reece James being the captain, but it completely makes sense. I just had this feeling that Kovacic is one of those players that doesn't want to stick around at Chelsea Football Club, doesn't completely trust and respect Graham Potter's ways. But maybe things are coming around. Maybe, just maybe, from the last couple of games that I've noticed, these players seem like they've been playing for the manager. And look, some people still may say, look, maybe they're not, and it's just self-pride. Whatever the case is, they're still, fighting for the cause, it seems. And I hope it continues. Maybe there has been a turning point for Graham Potter. And the wins, the more wins we pick up, the more we're going to understand this situation, if that's the case or not. So look, Kovacic's captaincy has been talked about by Graham Potter, and it's it's been a influential captaincy given. Like, it's been influential for the team, so it's been good impact. So look, ladies and gentlemen, for me, I can't see how we drop points here. Like, if we drop points in this particular match, it's step going backwards again, and it's further going to create doubts that long term if Graham Potter is the right man or not. Let's get into the team selection, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, this is what I'm going to do for this particular match. Considering all the notable absentees, we're going to have to tweak the team around a little bit. Kepa continues in goalkeeping position. Look, Kepa, honestly, there's been some times where he has been a little bit dodgy here and there, but overall, I have to say, he's been sensational this season. Since he's taken over, he's been very, very good, and he's the number one goalkeeper for Chelsea Football Club. And I think in Europe, he has one of the highest percentages of, the save percentage, if not the highest at the moment. So look, kudos to Kepa. Doesn't get enough praise as he should, but at the same time, look, there are some notable flaws still. But hope he can work on it, and hope he can really solidify the position. Personally, I've got no issues if he stays as a long-term Chelsea number one. Look, when I see goalkeepers like Ter Stegen, they're very good when it comes to shot stopping, but they're supreme when it comes to ball distribution. Kepa's very good in ball distribution, but I think he can go up a level. Shot stopping, he's very good. It's just every now and then he does get caught out with indecisions. I mean, he needs to be a little bit more commanding, a little bit more demanding. I love the fact that he's been finishing the last couple of matches as captain, the final 15 minutes or the 10 minutes when Kovacic goes off. So look, that would only mean further confidence for Kepa. A lot of people, once again, very, very upset. Why does Kepa get the captaincy? He's not proper Chelsea. It's a mockery. Calm yourself down, man. All right. In the LCB position, there seems to be a little bit of a debate. Is it Cucurella? Is it Badiashile? Cucurella got the man of the match in the Champions League. Look, how do you drop Badiashile, who's done nothing wrong? But at the same time, Cucurella as well, how do you drop him? I think it's going to have to be bad boy Badiashile coming back into the team. I think it will be very, very disingenuous if we were to let go of Padishil. I still think Cucurella will play in this match. I'm going to put him in. Actually, I'm just going to put him straight away in the wing back position because look, as I said, I don't want to see too many changes, but I think Ben Chilwell, the couple of matches he's had recently, have been unbelievable. I would love to see him play, but I'm worried that I don't want to see this guy injured again. He just came back from injury, couple of stellar matches, intensity, powerful pace, energy, the lot. He continues in that fashion. This is going to be 3 successive games in close proximity. I just don't want to risk another injury. I honestly don't. I need this brother to be fit. So for this game, I'm happy to rest Ben Chilwell as much as I'm reluctant to do that, but I understand he may need a rest. Cucurella had a very good game against Dortmund. I still think Cucurella's best position is LCB, but he's going to have to do his job in the left wing back position. Whether he underlaps, whether he overlaps, look, I think he's probably going to be more of an underlapping wing back and allow for the winger to be out wide as possible. And that's going to be a bit of a debate as well, who that might be. I think it still might be João Felix. If it's not Sterling on that other side, who's it going to be? We'll find out what my selection is. So, look, Cucurella plays for me. In the middle, I'm going to go with Koulibaly, who's been fairly good overall. There's been a couple of hiccups here and there, but then again, he's always rectified the situation. So for me, Koulibaly continues. On the right side, it's going to be Wesley Fofana. He has been majestic. He really has been majestic. I mean, he's not put a foot wrong. He's been very powerful for us in defense. Scored a goal against Leeds as well. Once again, very, very powerful against Dortmund. He continues on that right side for me, 100%. In the wing-back spot, no Reece James. He is ill. He is out. So it's going to be Ruben Loftus-Cheek for me. He slots in nicely. His work against Leeds wasn't over exciting, but he did a job. And once again, came off the bench against Dortmund to finish things off. And I'm hoping he does a job against Leicester. So, look, as I said, don't want to change too many things around. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has already played there, so let's continue doing that. And let's continue that combination between Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Fofana as well. So I think that's going to be quite important. The more you keep things stable, the better it's going to be. In the middle, I'm just going to continue on with Kovacic and Enzo. Just continue this on. Continue this double pivot. Continue this partnership and see if they can build a great relationship together. Understanding. The more you play together, the better the understanding is going to be. The more you're going to realize how your partner moves around and what are their strengths and their weaknesses. So I don't want to chop and change too much over here. Conor Gallagher can still stay from the bench. Kante is still not ready yet. Mason Mount is still not available for this particular match. So there's not much options. Zakaria is a player that we can use, but potentially he can come off the bench. I just don't want to break this scenario right now. Okay, now the inside forwards, this is how we've been playing in recent times. I think I'm going to continue with João Felix on this side. Once again, don't want to tinker too many things. Felix has been doing well on that side. Let's continue him on. He just now needs goals. He needs goals or assists just to get that, a bunny off the back, I suppose. He's doing everything right, just not getting that end product. And that end product is very important, not just for the players' confidence, but it just shuts off some parts of the fan base as well. And the rival fans, look, as much as these players probably don't give a damn about the rival fans, but you want to be able to shut the rival fans as well. So João Felix on the left side, I'm hoping for a big game once again from him, this time with some goals and assists. It's going to be highly important. Havertz, off the back of that Dortmund game, how do you drop him? You can't. You have to continue him on. But I'm not getting all gassed up about Havertz. Havertz has got to do a lot to convince us, the fan base, that he's truly back. One game ain't going to cut it, and especially that one game in the Champions League against the Dortmund team, no disrespect. It's not the same in the Premier League. In the Premier League, you don't get space. You don't get time. In the Champions League, there's a lot more time, a lot more space. And this is what he enjoyed against Dortmund. So Leicester ain't going to be easy. I'm telling you, 4-match losing streak, Leicester. You think they're just going to bend over backwards and just let us have our way with them? No way. It's going to be difficult. So, look, Havertz, time to just continue on. The way you played against Dortmund, you have to be able to link up, hold up, that passing. Hopefully you get in on the act with some scoring goals and getting some assists. So look, very important. He continues on. Now, on this side, Raheem Sterling, I don't want to take any risk. Muscle tightness in his hamstring. Rest him. Need him for the rest of the season. He's been immense. He really, under Thomas Tuchel, the first few matches, he was one of the most important players, if not the most important players. And in recent times against Leeds and Dortmund, once again, he's been a pivotal player. He's going to be a solid miss against Leicester. Look, we'll see whether he gets an opportunity from the bench. I don't want to risk more injuries. I think it's time we look after our players. On this side is a bit of a conundrum. Do we go with Madueke? Do we go with Hakim Ziyech? Do we go with Christian Pulisic? When I'm thinking about inside forward, I don't know, man. I don't know whether Ziyech and Madueke would probably do well, but more internal. Madueke probably likes to be wide a lot more. Ziyech could potentially play a little bit more inside, but can he play with his back against the defenders? Can he pick up the ball from these areas in midfield the way Sterling has been, enjoying the play from here? Can he do that? Perhaps, but he doesn't have that drive like Sterling does. Do you know what I mean? He simply doesn't have that drive like Sterling. Pulisic came off the bench against Dortmund, looked quite okayish. Do I give him an opportunity? Perhaps it's going to have to be, for me, in terms of stylistic comparison. And I'm not saying he's same as Sterling. Sterling is far beyond. But maybe Pulisic comes as closest. So I'll go with Pulisic on the right side, Felix on the left side, Havertz up front, because I just feel like maybe Pulisic can be a little bit better in that half space and can turn and probably drive and hopefully can utilize that pace. He looked quite okay when he came off the bench against Dortmund. But let me know. I wouldn't be against if it's Madueke or Ziyech, or anyone else you might have in your mind. Maybe Mudryk, I would prefer him on the left side. Graham Potter did mention Mudryk in the press conference, saying that he will be considered for this particular match, no doubts about that. But whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench. And he did also acknowledge that, look, he's pretty much had, like, he hasn't had a pre-season with Chelsea Football Club. When he joined Chelsea, that's when his pre-season really started. So look, we as a team need to stay patient with him. We as a fan base need to stay patient with him. This is the lineup I'm going with, ladies and gentlemen. Kepa, Badiashile, Koulibaly, Fofana, Cucurella, Kovacic, Enzo, Fernandes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Felix, Havertz, Pulisic. I'm going with maybe a standard 1-0, 2-0 victory. I don't see us scoring a lot, but I think we can keep a clean sheet. Yeah, put us down for a 1-0 victory. Put us down for a solid 1-0 victory. Let me know what your thoughts are with the lineup, what your score prediction is as well. Please mention in the comment section below. And yes, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the second channel is up and running. Miz TV Total Football. The first video has dropped. Sorry, there's a couple of clips that I shared in that video. The audio is missing, but I did put the link there, so do check that out. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers for that channel. There's going to be plenty of different content that's going to drop on there. So yeah, look, hope you've enjoyed this particular video. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe as well, and hit the bell notification on both the channel. Until next time, see ya.